We weren't ready yet. All right, go ahead now.
Are we good now?
You're good
We're
now.
on now?
We're live.
You counted me down. You said 3, 2.
I said
1.
3, 2, 1, but then I said wait.
Oh, I wasn't
And then we
looking.
were fading,
I'm getting ready to engage the stream here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You think we would have had it all figured out by now, but we are still a hot mess.
Well, we changed studio locations.
Yes, as you can see, we are not in our old studio.
We're still at Studio 4056, but instead of A, we're
Across
B.
the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are in the church. We are actually in the narthex. That's why we have these like king chairs behind us. But anyway.
Is that actually what they're called?
No, but that's what I call them because don't they look like a king chair?
I'm going to say something.
Like
I'm going to say something. And the only reason I asked if that's what they're called is today, Matt's like, well, I'm going to sit, where he sat today in church, because typically he doesn't sit there. Like, he just kind of like, he'll actually wander around during. And I said, well, what we'll do is we'll get you one of your chairs. And he goes, oh, the king chairs? Ah. And he said that today, and then you say it, and I thought he was making like a joke about it. But then, come to find out, you made the same joke, so I thought it was the same.
The volume is a little bit vibrating is the feedback we're getting right now. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
But I'll just try to
I'll just lower it.
Anyway, you're probably hearing the echo is what you're hearing at some level. We try to catch you with this lapel mic, but
don't go smacking it.
Sorry.
There's the vibrating.
Anyway, hey, my name is Nick.
And I'm Nick.
This is Nick and Nick at Nite.
We're professionals.
Yeah, we do this. Okay, so first off, we have a little bit of news, and it's news about how we are going to be transitioning. The church has started transitioning as a whole to start coming back in person, and youth ministry stuff, we are going to be coming back in person a little by little as well, but we're going to be doing it more through social events and activities as opposed to in person, like youth group. We do have a couple online games coming up. Next Saturday is a church work day. I know not everybody likes to get out and work, but instead of doing the mission trip and stuff like that, it's not an in place of, but it's just a way that we can use our hands and feet, and we're going to try to do some stuff around the church, like mulch, maybe throw some pine straw out.
I'm sorry.
It's like he's cheating off my test, but we're gonna do some stuff like that just to kind of get us back in action. We are still going to be very mindful of what's going on, and I know, youth, please hear me. I know you are ready to get back to a normal swing of things. I do. But I also know that we still have to take care of each other. And that is something we're going to keep striving to do. So we are going to join in unison with the church and be a process of coming back in together. We're not just going to open the floodgates and let everybody come because, that's a lot of people coming in and out, and we have to figure out how to do it safely. So we are still working on some of those, but next week we do have a work day on Saturday, and on next Sunday is actually going to be a water day. So we'll be out on the backfield. We'll have some water games. So come on out, hang out with us. It's going to be awesome. But Nick and Nick at Nite is actually going to start transitioning as well. As right now, we are a live stream. We are actively meeting on Sundays, getting people to come do some crazy things like eat hot wings or do try not to laugh challenges. We're still going to do this type of stuff, but it's going to be more episode based, where we are going to upload a new episode on Sunday nights as opposed to people come in. So there will be content weekly. What we have seen kind of through the numbers from how people view is that some of you watch at time, and then most of you kind of pick it up throughout the week at some point or another. So we are going to do more episode-based releases. and work it that way. That'll give us an opportunity to do some little production value at the end of it. Aren't you excited about that, Nick?
I am. I love, me and Terry Chisholm had a conversation about it, and I was like, post-production is where magic actually truly happens in recording stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can fix, if you have enough time and enough knowledge, you can fix anything.
And we can make things more exciting, like as people are responding to the heat, put in some music, or, you can do so many different things. So we're excited about that opportunity and taking that forward. Matthew says he's going to binge watch everything when it first comes out. But so look for things popping up throughout the week and all that good stuff. If you're interested in being a part of some of the stuff we do, hit me up. We might have a couple new challenges on the way. And as for how long this is going to go, I don't know.
Forever.
Yeah, I think we are planning to release some form of this for a while coming forward. But, I don't know when Hickory Flat and the youth ministry at Hickory Flat, I don't know when we're all going to fully come back together. Especially as youth group as the way we know it. So we're still working out some of the kinks and stuff like that and how that will work, but we're excited about the opportunity to see you guys. For those of you that were in the building this morning, we did have our first worship service back. How'd you think it went, Nick?
I mean, I sat in a completely different room from everyone
But
else.
you got the vibe.
I got the vibe through multiple cameras. I liked it.
Yeah.
And I told you this earlier. I said it really it's changed everyone's mentality, having people back in the room. Even though it was only like 34, I counted, there were 42 congregants today.
Right.
So that's not staff or volunteers. It's just 42 people that came for worship.
Yeah.
And it truly does change the vibe, because now instead of staring at a piece of glass, a round piece of glass, you're getting to see smiling faces, even though there are masks on. You get to see that face-to-face interaction. And I think that's us as humans, as creatures, weren't designed to be isolated for this long. And I know people go out to, but like seeing your friends and doing stuff, like people aren't designed to just be in their own box.
Yeah.
So
we are communal beings.
Right.
And that is the joy of what happened this morning. If nothing else, is that you got to be in community, like you got to witness and feel that community. You might, I'm a hugger, man. I like to hug, and I was not able to do that. I'm sorry if I just hit my mic there, guys, but I am a hugger, if there ever has been a hugger, and that was a little awkward, but just the ability to kind of still fist bump or, just to wave and kind of be in general community with different people even, was a very cool thing. So I'm excited to be back. That's what's happening with Nick and Nick. So we're going to kind of start that transition here even. What are some of the things you can expect? Not tonight, but in the future.
Hot dog eating no, I'm kidding.
We might. I think that is something very real we could do.
So did you see, I'll speak on this, the Coney Island hot dog eating competition?
Yeah.
75 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
I saw the highlight.
Did you see his shirt?
He was sweat through.
I don't think it was sweat.
That had to be.
No.
You think it was just water out of the...
water out of the hot dog, because they dunked the hot dogs. I was like, I saw it, and I love, and this is my confession.
Good old Joey Chestnut.
My confession is I don't like ballpark all beef hot dogs. I like the $1
Crackers.
for a pack of 8 hot dogs. Like, those are my favorite. Like, I had 4 for lunch today. 4.
Were you training?
No. Maybe.
I actually tweeted this morning. I said, how do you think these guys eat hot dogs throughout the year?
I watched an episode, right? On, what's his name? Joey?
Yeah.
Joey Chestnut or whatever. He goes to a hot dog stand every day of the week. He eats hot dogs every day, he said except Sunday, because I think the place he goes to. But they have something. It's called the place he goes. It's like they have a hot dog named after him, and what they put on it is absolutely disgusting. They put like sausage gravy, like on the hot dog, like biscuits, and sausage gravy, chili. What else? There's something else. They put like beans or sauerkraut or something, and then they put mustard and ketchup and a fried egg.
Ugh.
And they call it the Joey dog. And like he eats like 5 of those. But he's like, what he does is he eats those large ones, like those big.
To keep his stomach at a certain.
I guess to keep it stretched, stomach stretched out. But like he eats those big ones, so he doesn't eat 75 hot dogs. He eats like 5 of those to like keep.
Is this just in preparation, or this is literally every day?
He does it like every day. The thing I saw was like he did it every day. Like he goes there and he'll eat like so many hot dogs, but then he eats normal stuff. And I was like, well, I hope so. Like eating hot dogs, they're good, but
they're not that good. I like a good hot dog.
That's my point.
Like not enough to eat 75 of them in one sitting. But yeah, we might do a hot dog eating contest. We'll bring the hot wings challenges back. Look for just episode drops. We might even have hard conversations. I know that there's a lady who runs a suicide awareness classes who is interested in popping into this and having a conversation with us to kind of get down to some real stuff. We might just get on and do a devotional every now. Like there's a lot of things that we have that we think that this will open up the freedom to do. So we're excited about it. And anyway, let's kind of get back to our normal rhythm.
Okay.
If you have not followed the socials, follow the socials. Our first one is Instagram.
No. Oh, yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. I thought I clicked the wrong button.
I know the rhythm. You got Instagram right here. There we go. Okay.
It's flipped.
Backwards. Yeah. And that's at hickory.flat.youth. So check that out if you haven't already. We put some pictures on there. We try to keep it as up to date as possible. But we haven't had a lot to take pictures of recently, so it's a lot of just my mug face being like, come to this. So we need to get some new stuff.
And then you're going to text at HFUMYF to 81010. And that is our text tree, so that gives us the text alerts of like fun stuff that we're doing, opportunities, all that sort of stuff. So,
and this one is probably the biggest thing you need to be involved in if you're a part of our youth group, or you want to just know what we're doing, because we literally send everything out. This is almost this is the first line of communication that gets sent out, just about every time. And then comes emails, and then the rest of the socials.
Kids don't even have emails nowadays.
That's why it goes to their parents, because kids don't tell their parents anything. Anyway,
calling them out.
Boom, dropping that. But today, what are we doing today? Well, as a way to transition. That's not right. Transition. As a way to transition into this kind of new form, I want to interview Nick a little bit, kind of get to know him a little better, let you guys kind of get to know him. I know you very well, but these guys might not know you as well. I have a little bit of a funny story to tell you guys, and then we have a Bible story or Bible study to do as well. So I'll start off with the story. I told you earlier.
Why don't we start off with prayer?
Oh, we could do that.
Boom! Roasted! I'm sorry.
All right. Boker, take away our prayer time. Be sure to ask for stuff.
Ask for what?
Like prayer request.
Oh, okay, if anyone has any prayer requests, you can go to hickoryflat.org/prayer and submit them. Or you can drop them in the comments. Or you can text Lenny.
Or text me.
Yep.
Not him, apparently.
You can text me.
He doesn't want to know.
I don't hand out my phone number to a lot of the kids, so they won't have it. So Hit me up on Insta, I guess, if you follow me on there.
All right, drop us a prayer.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything you've given us. Please bless this time together and allowing us to gather together in this space and talk and have conversation with one another. Thanks for allowing us to have a fantastic worship today as we had our first Sunday back. And bless the times that we are together in this space, getting to worship you, Lord. And bless everyone still at home being safe. And keep everyone safe, Lord, over these coming months. And bless everything that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, Nick.
Lenny.
I'm going to give you some rapid fire doubles, and you got to tell me which one you like better.
So, like, you're going to give me two options, like chocolate,
Two options,
vanilla,
yep.
and I have to answer.
And I want it to be first thing that comes to your mind. I don't want you to sit there and think about it. I don't want you to argue about it. First things that come to your mind. Are you ready?
So is it the first thing that comes to my mind, or you're going to give me two options and I have to pick one?
Like, yeah, but the first one that you're like, that's it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
Like,
okay,
don't.
Okay.
Just spontaneous. Let's go. Let's flow.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Batman or Robin?
Batman.
Why?
He's the cool one.
Peanut butter or jelly?
Peanut butter.
All right.
Well, move on.
On your pizza,
Pepperoni.
pineapple or no pineapple?
No pineapple.
Ever?
Ever.
All right.
Hot pineapple, don't like it. Grilled pineapple is okay, but hot
On a pizza?
pineapple? No. Grilled pineapple
Okay.
is okay.
But not
hot
on a pizza.
Pineapple?
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Pancakes?
Pancakes.
Baseball or basketball?
Basketball.
Wow. Nick Yother or Craig Shearer? No, I'm just joking.
Nick Yother. Because he's here and I don't think Craig watches.
No. I'm just joking. That's
I love Craig. I love both of you. Both of you
different
have
ways.
helped me grow in two different ways, for sure.
Yes.
Craig was there. Both of you were there in my younger life, but you left.
I left.
Craig was here.
Yeah.
And then you came back, and I say you're finishing out the growth.
That's a lot of pressure to finish off this guy growing. Anyway, so Nick, I have a couple things.
That was it?
That was it. There was only a few.
All right, so real quick, peanut butter. I like reduced fat peanut butter.
Like,
Reduced fat Jif peanut butter. You can ask Katie this. That is the only peanut butter I'll eat. But I'm not a huge jelly fan.
hold on. Do you eat crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter?
Smooth.
Okay. Good.
Smooth. My mom raised me on reduced fat Jif, and she just always told me it was normal peanut butter. So,
You got used to it.
well, that's all I ever knew. So I ate normal peanut butter one time, and I looked at my dad. I said, "There's something wrong with this peanut butter." He's like, "No, it's peanut butter." I'm like, "No, it's not. This isn't what I eat."
For the record, if you have any questions that you want to ask Boker and you're watching right now, shoot them over. We'll pass it on. But Nick, I have always been fascinated with the young man you are.
I'm a fascinating
And I
guy.
don't mean that in a bad way.
Okay.
But can you kind of story arc your life in a summarized things? Give us what you thought you were kind of as a young kid, a middle school kid, a high school kid, and maybe a couple of the things that you feel like have defined you in your path to where you are now.
Okay.
That's a big one, I know, but
Just
give us the cliff notes.
That is the one question I wish you had given me
prep on.
prep on. Yeah, because
I told him I wasn't going to give him prep because I didn't want him to I just wanted him to talk, not worry about the tech stuff. That's why we're low tech today overall. We just go with it. So Nick, tell me. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just go.
All right, so I was born in Austell, Georgia,
Okay. What day?
May 19th, 1997.
Get him
My
a birthday
social
gift.
security number is no. I'm kidding. Then my childhood was pretty normal.
What was your random guilty pleasure as a child?
Legos. I was only allowed to get Legos like twice a year, like new sets, like new. I only got them like twice a year, like my birthday and Christmas, and like if we'd go on, so we'd go to Disney and they have the Lego store. And
Yep.
I was allowed to
Disney
get
Springs.
like I'd have to like convince my parents as to why I needed like this massive $400 giant box, and they're like, no, you don't need that. And I'm like, but I do.
They probably just didn't want to step on another Lego.
No, I was only allowed to play with them downstairs, and I had to put them all away
Okay.
every time. So that wasn't.
And you did it?
Yeah.
What was it like?
I wanted more.
What was it like being an only child?
Boring. You definitely entertain yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a sister, so you don't even.
Do you find that has helped you in your creative process as an older person? In your adult life?
Yes and no. Because like I feel like I do have some great like creativity when it comes to stuff.
Okay.
But like if I'm not 100% comfortable with the people, like I'll spitball ideas with you all day long. But like, and I'll say this, like, if Matt's like, hey, what's your opinion on this? I'll go, I don't know. Like I just don't want to, because I don't like, I know Matt, but I'm not like super tight with Matt. So I'm definitely like, once I know a person, I open up, and it's hard to get me to stop talking.
Yeah. That comfortability.
Right.
Level.
But getting me to that level, because I was never, as an only child, so I went to private school, so I didn't go to public school, so I didn't have a ton of friends in the area.
And this was more your teenage life, right?
This was my whole childhood.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like I went from private school from kindergarten through 10th grade.
Okay.
So in that regard, I had like my 5 friends at school, because I went to a smaller Christian school. So I didn't have and it was the same 5 kids. So like there wasn't that constant like evolution of like school districts changing or this or that or whatever. So like I had my same 5 friends. So I never really talked to anyone outside of that. So like I definitely feel like I'm what is it? I don't know if it's an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert. You know have you ever heard that term?
How do you recharge? Do you recharge by being around people or being away from it?
It depends. It's like a little of both.
Okay.
Like sometimes like right now, like with COVID and all that, I definitely feel like I need people to recharge, but like getting me to go out and see people, I'm like,
Is hard.
yeah, it's definitely hard, because I just don't want to go out.
Real quick.
Water parks or
Yes.
theme parks?
Yes.
I'm a sucker for a water park, because I'm definitely a water kid. So I love the beach, I love the lake, I love pools. So I love water.
Yo, check this out. Oh, it's not even showing well. I'm actually tanned, people. Like,
I got a nice
I went to the
farmer's stand
beach.
going on.
You
I have
too.
2 weeks to even this out.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
That was beside the point. All right, so talk to me through a little bit of high school.
Well, we're not there yet.
Oh,
We're
I'm
still
sorry,
in
I'm
my
sorry, I'm
childhood.
sorry.
Come on.
Continue.
Where was I? Childhood. Middle school, I was in drama and theater and technical productions in middle school and high school. So that's where I got a lot of my basis for sound and lighting and like stage design and visual design. So that's where I kind of stepped into
What we're doing now.
what we're doing now. Yes.
Okay.
I guess that's why I excel. And I did 3D modeling and all. Like I took all the nerd classes, right? So
So you're saying you're a nerd?
yeah, absolutely. I'm not.
Rock with it proud.
Yeah.
Being a nerd is cool.
Well, I still play with Legos to this day. I'll go to Katie will force me to go to Target because I hate Target, and I'll go to the Lego section and like stare at the Legos, and I'll be like, I want this one. And she's like, no. I'm like, but it's nice. So I'll get like the little $5 set every now and then.
You can come over and play with Finley.
Bet.
That would be the highlight of her day.
And then high school, I went to...
Creekview for a little bit.
Well, I was in private school, but then I went to Creekview for my last 2 years.
Okay.
And that's definitely where I developed a lot of my social skills. Because I switched schools in the junior and senior year. So everyone already has their friends.
Right.
Like, you're junior and senior year of high school, you already have all your friends, you got your friend groups, you're set. So I went to the same school as my cousin, so I kind of was friends with her friends. But then I got my own friend group, and I hung out with them, and I just figured out, like, I don't talk to any of her friends. I talk to the friends that I made. Like, I didn't, I still don't, so I still talk to them, and that's good, I think.
Sure.
So I developed a lot of social skills there because I was forced to, because I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
I was forced to be out of my comfort zone, but it was good. And like private school, I think it helped me get a good Christian biblical foundation. And then public school, I think, kind of gave me the dose of reality of like what life truly is like. Like I wasn't in a bubble anymore.
Okay.
Like I wasn't in the private school, because it would be like private school and you'd come home, you don't go out because you don't drive.
True.
And then you come to church and that's it. So like that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And then, go to public school and you get the friends and the football games and like all the other stuff that like private school doesn't have. Like when I went there, they didn't have football. They had a soccer team and a basketball team. That was it.
Right.
So, and they weren't good. So no one went.
No one went.
So yeah.
So what would you to kind of keep it moving a little bit? What would you say are a couple of the defining moments in your life that have impacted the man you are?
When I was probably in the 6th grade, my dad got cancer. I'm trying to think of when it was, but my dad got cancer when I was a kid, and it was definitely like not a easy thing to cope with as a young person,
especially as a 6th grader. Yeah.
So that that was hard as a kid, and I suffered with depression and anxiety as a kid. And I still have, I think, anxiety, just like not diagnosed anxiety, I guess. But like definitely had depression as a kid, so I do. I understand it, like what kids go through nowadays. Like I do get the whole depression and the anxiety and the need to fit in and try to meet those social standards, because I definitely experienced that the last 2 years of high school. I went from one environment and then got thrown into a completely different environment and was told to fit in and make friends and try to figure out what you're going to do,
Yeah.
So it was difficult. And then, my dad had cancer, so that just wasn't fun. That's
real.
Yeah, it's real. So that would be a defining moment. My mom passing last year would definitely be a defining moment. And Holly today in worship sang Amazing Grace, and she sang that at my mom's funeral. So I definitely was sitting back in the broadcast room crying a little bit, because it's almost the 1 year anniversary. So definitely the feels have been. Today was definitely an emotional day, but it's good. It's good to have emotional days.
Yeah.
So,
I think walking through those spaces of the tension, but also the sadness, are very important.
Yeah.
To remember how good it was, but also to, just give your time, give yourself a space to feel that emotion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I guess another defining moment would be my first job becoming a lifeguard and having to deal with
People.
a lot of mean people.
Yeah.
And joining the fire department definitely helped me grow as a person. Like mentally and emotionally, and learning how to deal with traumatic things. So I think that has helped me. You know, I got a little of that being a lifeguard and seeing people slip and fall and break their legs and stuff like that, or people drowning. You know, you see all that and you learn how to start that. But then the fire department, they kind of tell you you're going to, so you get to process all that. So like traumatic things, they affect me, but I've learned how to cope with them better than
Sure.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's just a Tuesday. This happens probably at least, statistically speaking, 52 times a year. Someone, you know, X, Y, or Z happens to them. So, sorry, it sucks that it happened to them, but it happens.
I will say one of my favorite things about you, Nick, and not in terms of like that you've been a yes man for me, to where you just kind of do whatever I ask you to. But I've always appreciated your servant's heart, and I think that really resonated. You know, when you were younger, I didn't see that as much. You know, I was around, as when Nick mentioned, I was around for kind of his like, what, 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe your middle school time.
So what year did you leave?
11.
Yeah, so it'd be, because I got into high school, I graduated in 2015, so 4 years, 2011. So you left when I was transitioning into high school.
And I was running the middle school ministry at that point, but we were all kind of together, and my small group were all guys who were like right around that graduation age time, and he often followed one of the guys in my small group around quite often. His name was Will Piper, and so I kind of got to know him a lot more through those things. I got to see, oh, okay, cool, he's interested in this, and I started thinking, okay, here's how maybe we can use that, and I think Sam started getting you to start filming some of his sermons and stuff at one point. So I got to experience Nick as like a young kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to do whatever, you know. And I say that voice because, you know, he hadn't gone through puberty fully. No, just joking. No. But you know, I came back, and Nick was really the very first person I reached out to once I got back. And I said, Nick, I know you're around, and I know about you, and I need some help, you know? And he went, yeah, okay. And
I think I said, yeah, I'll help you for a little bit while you get on your feet, and then I've been here ever since.
Yeah, and it's been basically...
It's been a blast.
Almost 4 years.
Has it been?
I think October will be 4 years.
No.
3.
3.
It'll be 3. Yeah.
Still, I don't feel like that's...
Sorry, it just hit me the other day that I've been in youth ministry for 14 years.
But still, 3 years? It feels like it's been like a year and a half.
No, definitely 3.
I mean, I know it's been longer than a year and a half, but I'm just saying, like, it just seems...
Yeah.
Doesn't seem that long that you've been
But
back.
in that time frame, the amount of questions I've thrown at him, just the amount of opinions I've been able to grab from him, the many times I've gone, hey, Nick, I need somebody to do this, or I need somebody to do that. And he goes, yeah, okay.
When do you need it done by?
Yeah, when do you need it done by is a big question, he said. But where did you think you developed that servant's heart?
It's a good question. I want to say genetics, right? I want to feel like I definitely got that from my mom, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of like when, like I definitely had to do stuff like when I was in middle school for like drama. Like it was just like, I don't know if it was expected of you, and I just like enjoy helping.
Yeah.
I just enjoy helping people. That's usually, I guess, what it would be. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you like what.
Like when there was a trigger?
Yeah.
Because it's real easy for there's a common trend a lot of times around single kid households that the kid gets very inward focused instead of outward focused.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've done their whole life is they've entertained themselves. They've done everything themselves. You know, so they got in trouble every time because they had nobody else to blame.
Right.
No, play it, but. It's just interesting. I think about it. There was, you don't have to right this second, but I just want you to know that I really think you're an awesome young man, and I am very proud of who you are, and I know you have got a lot of ambitions and hopes and goals, and you just keep running, keep striving. You know, you're still so young, and I can't wait to see. Where you go, it's going to be good.
I hope so.
It will be. It will be. I have no doubts in that. So Nick, to close this part of the stream at this point, what is a funny Nick story that you can tell us right now?
I don't know.
You got nothing funny that's happened to you that you've been like, oh, that's a classic?
No.
Really?
I can't think of anything. I think about like mission trips, but I don't even.
What's your
funny
favorite?
stuff happened. I loved not Glisten, Campo Cumberlands.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. Like that was just. I love it up there. Like if we could go back right now, be like, let's go for a month.
A month.
I feel like I'd get up there and be like, I don't remember it. You know, like I don't remember.
I don't want to be here that long. There's too much iron in the water. Sorry.
Yeah. I think the one memory, and I wasn't involved in this. Do you remember the Alex Y'all?
Which one?
When we were up there, up at Campo Cumberlands, you guys were doing a sanctuary, and he put the silicone on it, and it was brown.
Yeah, I was the one who filmed the
I
video.
know. And you sent it to me, or I had to pull it off, and we played it in worship one night. But that's definitely, I still have that footage somewhere in my I have archives of all the. But they took
we took like a brown caulking.
Yeah.
And it was like a silicone caulking, but the color was brown because we were working with wood trim type stuff, so it was so that it would blend in a lot easier. And we had Brandon Farrell. Like I jokingly was like, "Yeah, we should put that on his face," and because he was like napping.
Yeah, Alex was asleep on a pew. Like he fell asleep, and I guess I wasn't there. But what happened was, I just think this is like the funniest thing because they put it on his face, and he woke up, and he touches his face and looks at it and goes, "Ooh, ice cream!" and just instantly just eats it.
Like, and this stuff's not cold, so we have no idea how he got to ice cream as his first thing. But we did not have to go to the hospital, thankfully. That's a good story for sure.
Yeah.
I think tonight's one of the things I want to hit on. It really comes from the verse from Galatians, and it's chapter 6, verse 1. I'm so out of practice with this. I have to preach in like 3 weeks.
It's crazy.
I gotta get my game
So we
back.
talked. You talked about that, right? And that's the 1 week. I'm out of town, I think.
I thought you said you'll be back by then.
Oh, I'll be back by then.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Anyway.
I need to text Matt too.
You said you were coming back the day before or something.
I do. Yes.
Anyway, the verse says this. It says, "Brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness." And I thought that this was an important verse to kind of start off, because I feel like in a lot of things going on in our world, that restoration has been a key word. that we kind of need to deal with and work through. Because to restore something means what? Well, it means to refinish, to bring back purpose, to bring back value to, right? Or to get rest, to feel recharged. There's a lot of those words that kind of have a similar meaning. But I think, what are some ways that I've been restored in this time? What are some ways you maybe have been restored here recently, Nick? And I want you to think about, I'll tell you how I've been restored, and then we'll hear from you. But, one of the ways that I've been restored is that in all of this, we've been on we have been in COVID times.
It's been a break for
4 months. And honestly, I have been able to slow down and really focus in on family. I've been able to slow down and really kind of focus in on where are the extra things in my life that I just do right now for the sake of doing. And I've been able to really reassess and figure out what is it that I want to be about. And even in some ways, this break of youth group, as crappy as it's been, I hated missing the mission trip and the spring retreat and some of the things that we had planned going on for towards the end of the year. We were going to have an Oscar night. There were several things that we really had planned to do, but also just the opportunity to be in classes with you guys. I have missed that, but in some ways, this has also been a restorative time to figure out where are we at right now, and how do we want to make sure that we're still bringing the name of Christ glory. And I think that that's a hard thing to fully grasp. To say, well, have we been doing things the right way? Have we been doing things the wrong thing? All I know is this, is that the church as a whole, not just Hickory Flat, but the church as a whole has had to learn new ways of doing things. And a lot of those new things are actually really good things for the church. You want to jump in here? I do.
I've been trying to think of how to talk about this, but real quick, for production for church on Sundays, we have about 2 or 3 meetings a week, every week for church stuff.
Yeah.
And in one of those meetings, it was me, Bob, and Matt, before or after a meeting, and I was like, well, and it was about this Sunday. I said, I looked at Matt, I go, I know what the sermon needs to be about. And he looks at me, he goes, what? And I said, about breaking bad habits. I said, they say the rule of thumb is 3.5 months of not doing something, it breaks a habit, good or bad. If you work out every day and then you don't work out for 3.5 months, that habit of working out every day
officially broken.
It's broken. And that's scientists and psychologists have studied it, and it's 3.5 months, which if you track, we've been out of church right about 3.5 months, 4 months. So I was and he just looks at me and he goes, that'd be so good. So I was a little disappointed when he didn't use that, but hey.
Probably already has something else planned.
I'm sure it was the whole the Restore series or the 100 series. The one series. So, but I think that's a lot of what I said is true, is that a lot of people have had 3.5 months and they've either developed so to develop a new habit, it only takes 2 weeks.
14 days, yeah.
14 days to develop it, 3.5 months to get rid of it. So people have probably started some new habits that aren't great.
Yeah.
But they've probably also broken a lot of bad habits. And I can speak on this. The sound guy we had today, he's a gig. He travels around the country. And he said in the past 3.5 months, he stopped smoking altogether. Just because he wasn't going out and he didn't want to go out of his apartment to smoke or go get cigarettes, or he was vaping, so he didn't want to go out and get new juice or whatever. And he said, well, the other day I had to go to a buddy's house and I vaped, and he's like, and it made me sick.
Because he hadn't done it.
Because he hadn't done it in so long. And he's like, so I just don't anymore. And like stuff like that, and that's like it's an adult thing, but like kids or youth, everyone has bad habits, and I think this time has given us the ability to break some of those habits, and especially as the church, in stuff that it's just been, well, we've always done it this way. We've always done it this way, and they've been forced to change. And in the fire department, being in the fire department, you hear that a lot. You hear, well, we've always done it this way, or we've always done it, well, this is how we've always done it. And so we're not going to change because it's new, and it's silly. Mm-hmm. And, me being the rebellious person I am, go, well, we used to put fires out with buckets, but we don't do that anymore. So it's not how we've always done it.
Yeah.
So it's just to show, like, there are habits can be broken. We can build new habits. We can be recharging in different ways, and restoring our relationship and growing. And I think with people that went into COVID with that mentality, I think they're doing probably pretty awesome right now.
Yeah, and in some ways, you're almost like, I wish life could kind of freeze in the simpleness of not. Obviously, nobody wants COVID. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And we're ready to be free of all things COVID. But the ability to slow down in life has been nice. And to learn in that and to be in that for a second, the question is how are we restoring others? But how have you restored yourself as well? You want to say something before I continue?
I was just saying, like the simpler times things. I saw this article. Walmart is rolling out drive-in movie theaters across the country, which I think is super cool. I don't know if anyone's ever been to a drive-in. Have you been?
I've never.
They're super cool. They have one up in LJ, and you can go. And it's like this old-timey thing, but I think there's a huge value in the simpler times. I like what you said is like freeze in the simple times. Like let COVID move on with its life, but why don't we stay here? Because I've heard some, like talking to youth and talking to people are like, well, like we eat family dinner now, and we haven't eaten family dinner in 10 years, or I got to see my mom and dad more, or I got to spend time with my brothers and sisters because they're always playing sports or doing X, Y, and Z, and they're always busy, or they're off of college, and like all these things, and it's just like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, it's easy, it's simple, but like, people go, well, it's great, but like, there's something deeper in the simplicity.
Sure. I think if we look at the kind of the core of each person, we recognize that we were living in a hysterically busy society. I mean, like it's crazy some of the stuff that people were consistently trying to be a part of because they didn't, either they didn't want to miss anything, or B, that they had to do so much to get into a school, or they had to do so much to maintain a job, or whatever. And now I think there's a lot of stuff that everybody's looking at it and go, wow, we were very...
It's FOMO culture.
For no reason.
FOMO culture.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out culture. And that's very much what American culture and most of the world culture is built on, is this FOMO.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not doing absolutely everything all the time, I'm missing out on everything.
Yeah.
Not just one thing, like, oh, I didn't go I didn't go and play soccer or whatever this week. But I'm missing out on everything. Not just soccer, everything. So it's like you miss one thing, you miss everything. But if you're involved in everything, you're also missing everything because you're not truly dedicating the time or the energy. You're always running on like 20% or even 80%. You're just constantly like just going. And I think there's a scripture that kind of talks on that, and it's the whole, like, I pour into you so you can pour into others, right? And it's you as a person can't keep pouring into others because eventually you run out of liquid. I know.
I was really scared for your laptop right there.
So once your cup's empty, it's empty.
Yeah.
And you can still try to pour into other people, but eventually there's nothing else to give. You have an empty cup.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do any good saying, "Here, Nick, here's some water." But my cup's empty and I'm running on E and you're on E. So I'm just going to give you my 2 cups of E, and now what does that do for you? Absolutely nothing. So I think giving that time for all of us to kind of recharge and get spiritually fed in different ways than we have in the past is good. It's different and it helps growth, because I think COVID has forced a lot, and we've talked about this, has forced people to truly take their faith in their own hands. So often people just relied, well, I go to church on Sunday mornings, or I go to youth group. Well, if you want a relationship with God during COVID, yes, online worship is a thing. Yes, the podcast stream's a thing. But you're forced to take your faith into your own and be your own human being and be your own Christian.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And it's given people the opportunity to not just spiritually grow, but like mentally recharge. And I think that's crucial.
And I want to turn a little bit from this part of restoring and just ourselves, but also talk about how has God restored people over time. Whether this is another space in that this is an opportunity for us to be restored in this part of time, but there's a consistent thread of stories through the Bible of people who were restored from the places they made mistakes, from the times that they just didn't quite hit the mark. For instance, people don't look at the fact that Peter denied 3 times. They don't stop and obsess over that. They talk about it, but they don't obsess about it.
No.
What they do is they go, man, he was the rock that the church was built on, right? Nobody talks about King David and his affair with Bathsheba. They talk about how he defeated Goliath and died as a guy who was after God's own heart. You see, there is room for a mistake. There is room for a place that we just don't quite meet it. So as I've gone through this restorative process over this time away, I have been convicted about things. But these are the places that make me feel better. Not as like you get a get out of jail free card because of God here, but more of like, this is a consistent trend in people. And I think that gives all of us the opportunity to stop and go, if these guys were able to still make something of themselves, these guys were imperfect, so are we. We have opportunity and space to do that. And I think we have the freedom and the space to still do that. If Cherokee County hasn't made a call about school, but if in the next month you're going back to school, you've got a month still. How are you restoring yourself and prepping yourself to go back into school? What is that going to look like? How is it going to be different? How are you going to take those differences and run with them and make them your new normal, but also giving God his proper space that maybe you were able to give him during this time?
And I think this is a huge part for, middle school and 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, or rising seniors at this point. You're going to go back to school some way, but like seniors that are graduating at the end of the month, right? First off, congratulations that you guys get to walk and do all that.
Yes, we're happy about that.
Effective change, right?
That's right.
I'm excited to see that for you guys. Not in person, but from afar.
We'll take what we can get.
Yeah. But you guys are going, some of you, all our seniors that I know, they're going to college. And this already will be a huge change for you. I went to college for a little bit. Nick, you went to college.
For a lot of it.
I went for a year and went, not me.
I went for like 8 years.
Yeah, I was about to say like 7, 8 years, right? Because
Yeah.
I remember you graduating when you were here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
Sure
yeah.
did. I could drive the church van before I graduated from college.
I can't drive the church van. That's the ongoing joke, right?
Yes.
In 2 more years, if I stick around for 2 more years,
2
I'll
more
be able
years.
to drive, right?
That's right.
I'm breaking it out. On the
You could drive a fire truck.
drive a fire truck. Can't drive
The
a
church van.
It's too dangerous. They give me a 30,000-pound vehicle with lights and sirens. I'm okay to drive that though. Back to what I was saying is,
Sidebar.
yeah, that rabbit trail. Going to college is already a transformative space, and it's already difficult because for a lot of you, you're moving away from your families for the very first time. There's a lot of changes happening, and now you also have to contend with the COVID-ness, and it's I know a lot of colleges. Well, we're going to go back late and leave early, and we're going to do online, and they're all doing something different. And I think you're going to experience what I experienced in 11th grade. You've had your group of friends, and now you have to make them all over again. And that in and of itself is hard, let alone moving away from everything you've known and starting over. And then on top of that, you're trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. So, right? Yeah, oh no. I just want to speak that take this time, this next month. Colleges, a lot of them are starting back even a little later. So take this time and figure out ways to plug in to where you're going. So that way you don't stop your faith walk. Because statistically speaking, a lot of kids graduate high school and they go off to college, and faith becomes like an afterthought.
Yeah, staying true to your faith through all the transitions of your life. You need to set a proper space for those things, because it's not always so easy as going to church 3 times a week or 2 times a week, especially college. That's a big transitional time. So let these times be foundational building, so that you're prepped to go into those times and have some strong legs to stand on. But guys, we won't keep you too much longer here. We are right at 7 o'clock, so I think it's a great time for us to kind of wrap this. Nick, thank you for being a good sport and answering some questions. Like we said, this is probably our last live stream, unless there is something behind it. We will be dropping content still at 6 o'clock on Sundays. We will be releasing some sort of video that will come out. It might be talking like this. It might be a Hot Wings challenge. It might be new ways to encounter and hang out with people. So we think it'll just give us a lot more flexibility and space to do what we need to do. As things are transitioning, we had to move spaces because people are getting into the office more. We are trying to stay ahead of things and in time with things. So.
I'm going to be real honest with you. Matt said we could still use the office. I just moved my computer and didn't feel like moving it again.
Or just because Boker got bored and I got tired of moving. He has been moving it every Sunday for 3 months. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, spending some time with us. This has been Nick
and Bill.
And this has been Nick and Bill at Night. Thank you guys for watching. We love you.
Love you. See you next week, guys.
His name's actually Nick, just in case you didn't know.